Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing something a little bit different today. I had mentioned in a previous video that I wanted to do something else with my channel. I wanted to do story time videos, but stories that aren't mine. I told my story of why I wanted to start doing this, so now I'm going to tell other people's stories. And I think this is so fun. I am so excited. I'm also nervous because this is my first time storytelling while doing my makeup, so this is gonna be definitely a challenge, but I'm excited. It's my first one, so if it's really bad or all over the place, I'm sorry. I tried my best. When I was doing the research on it, it was kind of hard to find a lot of information that wasn't going to be boring, you know, because I want to tell the history of things that lead up to these hauntings, but this one was kind of, it was really detailed, and I didn't want to go like full on detail with this story because it's not about that, it's about the haunting. So the story we're talking about today is the Lemp Mansion curse. Now, when I was reading this story, I was like, oh my god, this poor family. Like, there's just so much to this family. I feel so bad, but it's also very intriguing. So, just a little history. So the Lemp Mansion was built in the 1960s by William Lemp. It was built in St. Louis, Missouri, and this is like a really big house. This is a 33-room house. And this house was home to, obviously, the Lemp family, and they also had servants, and employees would stay there because the mansion was attached to the family business, which was the Western Brewery. Brewery. That word is so hard to say. Just a little backstory on William Lemp. He was born in Germany in 1835, and it's said that he lived a pretty normal life. He would go on to graduate from St. Louis University, where he would go on to work for his father, John Adam Lemp, at the Western Brewery. His dad owned it, and his dad would train him on how to run this brewery. Like, just train him in the books and all of that good stuff that comes with brewery business, I guess. I don't know. This brewery was a really big brewery. It took up 5 blocks. I mean, this thing was huge. And it was doing really well business-wise. It was said that the brewery was like a godsend. You know, the family was like kings to this town because they brought in a lot of success. I mean, this family was loaded. This brewery gave them so many riches, and they were just extremely fortunate. But in 1862, John Adam Lemp would pass away, leaving the brewery to his son, William Lemp. And William would go on to run the brewery and get married to a woman named Julia Feichart. I think that's how you say her last name, Julia Feichart. And they would have 9 children. 9 children. Unfortunately, they lost one to miscarriage, but they still had 9 children. Like, that's a lot. I'm not going to go over all their names because there's only 4 of them that are pretty relevant to this story. So their youngest son, Frederick, he had a lot of heart problems. It didn't really say what was wrong with him exactly. It just said that he suffered from disease and unfortunately would pass away from heart failure when he was 28 years old. And of course, this really took a toll on William. He became super depressed, and people would say that he just seemed not fully there, that his health was declining physically and mentally. He seemed very nervous and unsettled a lot of the times. They would go on to say that he just didn't seem fully present. You know, he was there and he was having his meetings and doing his business thing, but it's not like he was fully mentally there. Unfortunately, in 1904, just 3 years after his son passed away, William would commit suicide with a .33 caliber gun in his home. When this happened, a servant and his oldest son, William Jr., would hear the gunshot and come running for him. William went running up the stairs and was banging and knocking on the door. He had to kick the door down to get to his father, where he unfortunately found him dead. And this is where people say that the curse begins, because this is kind of where it just all goes downhill from here. 2 years after William committed suicide in 1906, his wife Julia would die of cancer inside the home as well. There was a lot of death in this house. It's very, very sad. I couldn't find what type of cancer she had. Not that it matters. It's still just very sad that this happened to her. You know, she loses her youngest son, and then her husband commits suicide, and then she's struggling with cancer, and it's a mess. So William Jr., being the oldest son and the heir to the company, he would take over the brewery. His father had left it to him, and he would turn it into the company headquarters. So this is where everyone would meet to have their meetings. This is where all the business would be handled, everything like that. But unfortunately, more breweries were coming into the city, and it was a lot of competition for their brewery. They were being outrun pretty much. And it really didn't help that Junior, I'm just going to call him Junior. It really didn't help that he seemed like he didn't really care too much for the company. All he cared about was the money and the fortune, which there was a ton of. I mean, this, like I said in the beginning, this family had a lot of money. So what he would do is he would spend all of his money on his wife and just go tell her to buy things, do whatever you want, because he was a player. It was said that he was a player, and he was always cheating on his wife and having affairs. Well, this one affair led to him having a son who was born with Down syndrome. Now, this is just speculation. There is no proof that this happened. It's pretty much just word of mouth from the servants that were living in the house. What's sad is they called his son Monkey Face Boy. Like, how messed up is that? Like, it's not his fault he was born with Down syndrome. Like, what's wrong with you people? It's said that they kept him locked up in the attic where the servants would live to keep him from, like, the public eye. Junior didn't want people knowing that he had an affair, which I'm pretty sure, like, the whole town knew he was having an affair, you know? But they kept him locked up in the attic with the servants, and they wouldn't let him outside. They wanted to pretty much just save face, and he would later on die in his 30s. In the house. I couldn't find anything that said what he died from, but if there's claims that he has Down syndrome, it could have been from that. I'm not really sure. I don't want to assume things because I don't really know anything about Down syndrome. I don't know if it's something you can die from. I don't know. I probably sound really stupid, but I'm being honest here. So fast forward to the 1920s. Junior is taking over the business. It's not doing very well. He's not taking care of the property. He's not keeping up with the house. Everything's just sort of falling apart. The landscaping of the brewery is not doing very well. It's deteriorating. It's just getting really old and neglected. So he ends up closing it down because this is the time when Prohibition hit, and that was just like a really big toll on the company. So he ends up shutting it down, and he's like, I'm gonna sell this thing. I don't want it anymore. But before he could even sell it, 2 years later, he ends up shooting himself in the head in the same room as his father with the same type of gun, a .33 caliber revolver. Are you kidding me right now? So just a little side note that I thought I wanted to add is one of William Lemp's daughters, she had a pretty rocky marriage. It didn't really go into too much detail about it, which I'm not going to. This is just like a little side note. She shot herself in the head because of a rocky marriage. Like, what in the hell is going on with this family? It's sad. It really is. It's super sad, but like, what is the deal? Like, is it the brewery that's cursed? You know, I don't know, but because there's no reports of like workers committing suicide or anything like that. So like, what's going on here? It's very, very strange. Anyways, back to the story. I got off track there for a little bit. So after Junior kills himself, William's third son, Charles, he then takes over the company. And at first, he didn't want anything to do with this. He didn't work for the company when he was younger. He didn't have any part of it whatsoever. Like, he just went on and lived a normal life. He just did his own thing. He's like, you know what? My family keeps dying in this house, and I don't want to be a part of it. Like, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to do it either. That's awful. Why would you want to be a part of a business and like your family's just committing suicide all the time. That's insane. So here's kind of where the story got a little bit weird for me personally. So when Charles took over, he ended up turning the mansion back into an actual house. Like, he wanted to turn it into a residence. He wanted to live there, make it a family again, a family house again, and just, you know, make it out to be for what it was. He didn't want any business being handled there, nothing like that. He just wanted it back to being just a normal house. Well, Mr. Charles over here shoots his dog in the basement of the house on May 10th, 1949. Thought I'd put that date out there. Shoots his poor dog in the basement of the house, and then goes upstairs and shoots himself in the room between where his dad shot himself. So there's like, his dad shoots himself in one room, and then there's another room. He does it in the middle room. Like, what the is going on here? And why would he kill his poor little dog? Like, what did the dog have to do with it? Just living his life. But what's different and what's weird about Charles's death is that he left behind a note. And now nobody else left behind a note. It was just Charles. So his note said, quote, "If I am found dead, blame it on no one but me." Like, what's going on in this house, right? But it was also said that he suffered from OCD and like a really big fear of germs. He was an older man. I believe he was his 77, 75 when he committed suicide. But I mean, he had his own like issues, you know? So no one knows like why he committed suicide. It could be because he was suffering from mental health. I mean, it could be a number of reasons. It could be the family curse, the Lemp Mansion curse. I mean, that would be my bet. That same year, 1949, when Charles Lemp committed suicide, that is when the house was turned into a boarding house. I don't know who turned it into a boarding house or who bought it, but it didn't last very long. It was quickly shut down because the building was just still deteriorating and just not doing well because Junior didn't take care of it. But that is when reports of hauntings of the house started. Workers of the boarding house would report seeing apparitions, strange sounds. This is difficult. Tools vanishing, feelings of being watched. Many workers would just up and leave the job and not even try and come back, which I don't know. I don't know if I would stay or what. But like I said, the boarding house was quickly shut down until 1975 when a man named Dick Pointer bought the mansion and started renovating it into a restaurant and an inn. The mansion is open today. You can actually go and visit it. It's a bed and breakfast that's been restored to the period style from like the brewery days. It has fine dining and it even has mystery dinners. Like, how fun would that be? You could also take tours of this mansion. So if you ever want to go to St. Louis, Missouri, there you are. The guests that have stayed in this bed and breakfast have also made reports of hauntings or things that have happened to them, including glasses flying through the air, like glasses that are chilling on the bar area have just been known to just fly off and fly through the air with nobody even in the bar. Lights turning on and off, doors locking by themselves and unlocking by themselves, pianos playing by themselves, like a lot of stuff. Like, I have a whole list of things of what people have reported. People think that the Lemp Mansion is haunted by many Lemp family members, which I could totally see true because did you hear the story? Like, I don't mean to laugh, but it's just so crazy that almost every family member committed suicide with a shotgun. Like, so it's said that there's 3 areas of the house that have the most activity, being the stairwell, the basement, the attic. So the part of the basement that is said to be haunted, they call it the gates of hell. And this is because under the house, there was caves that connected to the brewery. So everything was all connected all together. So that way workers, employees, whatever, could just go under the caves when they were at the house and just go straight back to work. So they call it the gates of hell. The attic is said to be haunted by the monkey face boy, the boy that was born with Down syndrome. It said that you could see his face from the outside window, like if you're in the parking lot and you look in the window, people say you can see his face looking back at you. That's terrifying. There have been ghost investigators that have been to this house, and they will leave toys in the attic in a circle for monkey face boy. And when they return, the toys are located in different parts of the house. So, like, shit's moving in there. Women have reported that the downstairs bathroom that is next to where Junior committed suicide, they see a man peeking over the stall at them while they're in the bathroom. It would make sense because it was said that he was a player and he had an affair. Like, he liked his women, you know? So, I mean, it would make sense for a man that is nasty to be peeking over the stall at a woman while she's in the bathroom. Like, what the... You can also stay in William Lemp's room, and guests have reported hearing running upstairs and kicking at the door. Now, if you remember in the beginning of the story, I had said that when he shot himself, Junior came running up the stairs and had to kick down the door in order to get to his father. So guests have reported hearing those sounds. That is actually terrifying. Like, I would probably shit my pants. Like, no lie, that is so scary. Just hearing running and then just kicking at your door. Ooh. So, if you want to stay there or even take a tour there, you most definitely can. It's a bed and breakfast. It hosts tours. It has mystery theater, dinner. So, I mean, that's all fun and dandy. But if you want to go there, then you just have a grand old time. But anyways, that is the story of the Lemp Mansion curse. What do you guys think? Do you think it's actually cursed? Or do you think this family was just... There was, like, more to the story, you know? Like, what happens behind closed doors stays behind closed doors type of family? I don't know. Because the daughter committed suicide and she didn't have any part in the business or anything like that. So who knows? I don't know. But that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know what you think down below about this story. Also, if you liked it and you want me to do more of these, comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And thank you for watching. This was actually super fun. I had a good time doing this. So I think I'm gonna keep doing this regardless. It was a lot of fun. But I love you guys and I will see you in the next one. Bye.